any second here, just so you're aware.
No more laughter, right?
Well, no, that's not what I'm saying.
I'll stop saying mean things about
Let
you.
you
then,
know we're
Karen.
going live.
Morning, Paul, or afternoon, Paul.
Afternoon, or good evening. How are you doing today?
So far, so good. I told Susan I'm having a lot of trouble with my internet, so I'm hoping it makes it through the meeting.
I have every confidence.
So I don't know if that's you, Kevin, or Paul, your speaker. It seems like it started when you got on. So I'm not sure if there's a lot of static that I'm hearing on my end. I don't know if anyone else is hearing that.
Sounds like a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
Well, I'll mute my microphone and tell me if it goes away. There, it went away.
Nope.
Go away?
It went away before you muted.
Okay.
It was
Yeah.
Paul.
So I don't know. Did you do something, Paul? Because now it's gone.
Well, I unplugged the speaker that allows me to really hear it.
Oh, well, that was causing a lot of interference to the point where we're not going to be able to hear the meeting. Okay. We'll talk real loud so you can hear us.
Never been a problem for me.
Well, Paul, you almost set the record for the fastest meeting last week, but or 2 weeks ago, so we kept you talking, so you went. But tonight we'll see the real, how well you can get through this.
Fast.
Well.
I'm going for fast.
I think it'll be dark just because we have 3 public hearings. I'm just saying.
I drove by, saw a lot of people outside City Hall. They must be lining up.
Uh-oh, we're back on that noise.
That is not me.
Donovan, did you change something in the?
That's weird. I'm worried about that. Let me check.
Yeah. I think it might be City Hall then.
You know, when I was a kid, we lived 2 blocks from the.
Gone.
Yeah, went away again.
What did
Whatever
you
you
do,
think.
Donovan?
Yeah.
So maybe it's not my speaker. Let
I
me
don't
put,
think it's you, Paul.
No, I'm wondering if it's something set up in the chambers.
I saw a couple of cars pull in the parking lot. I thought I might have guests, so I set the second computer up.
So so the way it's set up at the podium, is it, were you trying to use the mic there, or just so I know, so, at some point, if we do remote or hybrid meetings.
No, it's just purely the laptop that's there as
Okay.
and just I logged in, basic Zoom. So there's no high tech solution there.
Did you change anything though? Because it seemed like it stopped all of a sudden.
I
you
muted that public testimony.
Okay.
When, not that reflects any, official policy of the Planning Commission to mute public testimony, but,
Of course not. No, I'm just wondering
Until we have
from.
public testimony,
and-
then we can all listen to
Yeah.
the vacuum cleaner.
yeah, I'll mute mine. So we only have one source of audio in this chamber.
I'll just have Dan listen back to that portion of the meeting so he can hear the noise. So, because I don't know, as far as hybrid meetings, I think part of what we want to have is something at the podium so that when people are speaking, it's supposed to put that in as part of the online portion. So we'll see if that's the way it sounds, that's probably not going to work out great.
Mike, you're very coordinated tonight with the wall art.
Oh, she bought that at Christmas time. It's been here at every meeting, except for Mexico meetings.
at 7 o'clock, we'll call the meeting in order. Karen, would you take the roll, please?
Commissioner Young,
Here.
Commissioner Batty, Commissioner Miller,
Here.
Commissioner Keen,
Here.
Commissioner Brink,
Here.
and Chair Gerard.
Here. Donovan, do you have a flag this evening to show?
I do.
I will ask if you're able to please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. If you wish to turn your video off, feel free. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
And to the republic
republic for which
for
it
which it
stands,
stands,
One
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
with liberty
and
and
justice.
justice
justice
for all.
Thank you. The chair is looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. It's a non-debatable. Karen, would you call the roll on this?
Commissioner Young,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Commissioner Keen,
Aye.
Okay, we're there. now.
Commissioner Brink,
Aye.
and Chair Gerard.
Aye. Next is to approve the planning commission meeting minutes from April 28th, 2021.
So moved.
Looking for a motion.
Make a motion to approve the planning commission meeting minutes from April 28th, 2021.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Kevin, a second by Mike. Any discussion on the motion? Any discussion? Hearing none. Karen, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Young,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Commissioner Keen,
Aye.
Commissioner Brink,
Aye.
and Chair Gerard.
Aye. Next is Fitzgerald Flats preliminary plat application. This will be a public hearing. We will consider the preliminary plat application and will then make a recommendation to the city council. So Donovan, I assume you're starting us off?
Yes, sir. Chair, members of the Planning Commission, like to present the preliminary plat application for Fitzgerald's Flats. This, property is located in the Headwaters area, and located just adjacent to a similar application from last fall when Headwaters Village Second Edition Outlot A was replatted to allow for a lot line adjustment for the Forest Lake Veterinary Hospital. So just across the future Headwaters Boulevard, we find ourselves within Headwaters Village Outlot A. And this lot basically is proposed to be split in half to allow for a single parcel for the Fitzgerald Flats apartment building that was recently the subject of a site plan review and approval with the Planning Commission. The plat itself is, let me pull this up, does show the two lots. They're legal conforming lots, and they basically create the area that you saw as the Headwaters Fitzgerald Flats apartment building here with that frontage on Fitzgerald Trail to the northeast. And so there is a lot line with the appropriate drainage utility easements, on these two lots. And this is a situation that if these were two legal lots, this would be simply a minor subdivision. And it would, have a different application and, different review, little different process. However, this status of the current lot as an outlot requires this replatting exercise. And so, and we do have Len Pratt, who is the owner, with us tonight to represent the application. And the findings of fact do, I believe, support the Planning Commission offering a recommendation of approval to City Council for this preliminary plat. And the staff recommendation is to approve and that with the conditions that all city approved plat and all required documents are recorded with Washington County. And prior to any construction of the lots, all concerns of the city engineer must be addressed. Required zoning approvals received and all required permits obtained by the city and Rice Creek Watershed District. With that, I'm happy to take any questions from Planning Commission.
Commissioners, do you have any questions for staff? Seeing no one having any questions, Len, you've been with us before. Do you have any comments you would like to make?
No, I don't. It's pretty straightforward. Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. Any questions for the developer, for the applicant in this case? Seeing none, we will move on to the public hearing. This is a public hearing. We ask that if you wish to speak to this application, please state your name.
Right here. I got it.
Name.
Here, each take one of these on the bottom.
Hey, Len, you're not on mute. There you go.
Just muted him.
This is a public hearing. We asked if you wish to address this application, please state your name and address for the record. Tell us your thoughts for a couple of minutes, and then thank you for your comment. It's usually a one-way discussion. After we've heard everyone who wishes to comment on this application, we will close the public hearing. It'll come back then for discussion with the Planning Commission, and then there will be a recommendation made to the City Council. So with that, I'll officially open the hearing. Donovan, is there anyone at City Hall wishing to address this application?
There's no one in the chambers. I thought I saw someone come in, so I'll run into the front lobby, but I'll be right back.
Okay. Karen, do you have anything to present?
Yeah, no, I don't have anybody waiting, so no one on my end.
Thank you. We'll wait just a minute for Donovan to get back. Donovan, does anyone wish to address this application?
No, there's no one here at City Hall to address the issue.
Thank you. Karen, I'll ask you one more time. Is there anyone that's wishing to address?
No one waiting.
Okay, then we will close the public hearing. We'll bring it back to the Planning Commission for discussion and a motion. So, commissioners, what is your pleasure? Kevin?
I would make a motion that we adopt the finding of facts and recommend to the City Council approval of the preliminary plat for Fitzgerald Flats with the 2 conditions.
Second.
We have a motion by Kevin, a second by Susan. Any discussion on the motion? Any discussion? Hearing none. Karen, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Young,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Commissioner Keen,
Aye.
Commissioner Brink,
Aye.
and Chair Gerard.
Aye. So this is a recommendation to the City Council They will take this up at a future date. Donovan, do you know when that will be?
I believe there's room for it on the May 24th City Council agenda.
So a couple of weeks. So they will make the final decision. So everyone who's attended tonight on this application, thank you very much for your attendance. Moving on, we have item number 7 is 806 11th Avenue Southeast. It's a variance application. We will hold a public hearing for this. We will consider the variance application, and this will be the final decision by the Planning Commission. Donovan, I assume you're going to walk us through this?
Yes, sir. Chair, members of the Forest Lake Planning Commission, like to present the variance for 806 11th Avenue Southeast. This is a side street variance in which the applicant seeks to build stairs that encroach within that side street setback, a total of 7 feet, as well as a foot for the deck into the deck setback. And so I'd like to show the actual location for this property. This is located just a little bit northeast of Belts Park, 806. So it's in a single family neighborhood. The applicant has submitted a series of photos that show both the exterior of the house and the interior, and how they see a practical difficulty with the current location of the front stairs. So here's the front facade of the house. This is the northern facade facing 11th Avenue with current stairs, small little landing area, and the front door. They're citing a need to go further out from the house because of roots, this large cottonwood here that's currently heaving the front sidewalk. And so this is where the front door currently comes in. This is into the living room, and where they'd like to put it is actually into the stair landing in the split level home, so that there isn't a situation where, entering the house means you're right into the living room. And so they feel like that is a much better way to use the interior space. And so what they're proposing is, in this house, that it's built to the house itself is built to conforming setbacks, where, based on the residential definitions of the front and side street setbacks, the narrow dimension of a residential lot is the front, so that's South Shore Drive. And then being a corner lot, it has the 25-foot setback here. And the house itself, I think, is at 20, what do you say here? 13 at 28 point, I'm sorry. 28.5 feet. And the thing about these corner lots is that those two setbacks make kind of double restrictive as far as any sort of improvements once a house has been established. And of course, the owners, Pat and Ann Gabriel, who are with us tonight, did not build the home at that location, at that setback. And with steps, they're allowed to be encroaching into a required yard setback. And so the steps can be up to 22 feet from that 11th Avenue property line. And what they're proposing is the steps be 15 feet from that property line. In the zoning code, decks, stairs are dealt with differently than the structures, and are given more latitude, and especially in rear yards, decks themselves are allowed to encroach 10 feet into the required setback. And staff believes there was a practical difficulty present with the proposed deck and stairs construction stemming from inability to accommodate and improve front entrance to the house, and that would preserve the structural integrity of the large tree, and also due to the basically 2 front setbacks on a corner lot. And so in the variance findings of fact, I've written that I believe that this is a reasonable use, that a deck in this case is a deck and stairs are, of course, common things accompanying a single family home, and the owners did not plant the tree or home, locate the house in this location or plant the tree that are the big part of the present difficulty, or even the indoor floor plan that of that where there's no real entrance area. So the staff recommendation is for approval of the variance with the condition that no construction demolition shall occur prior to the issuance of the required city permitting. With that, I'm happy to take any questions from the Planning Commission.
Commissioners, any questions for the city? Kevin?
Donovan, I'm confused on the deck. I'm looking at the photos, and did you say the deck is gonna the door that's there currently is gonna get eliminated, and the deck's gonna get pulled more towards the garage and come in through the living room? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I can explain that better. What they're seeking to do, and I'm sure Pat and Ann can also explain better. What they seek to do is actually shift the stairs to where the current 3-part window is.
Okay.
And so then they can't simply have the stair. We have to reorient the stairs because it'll be too close to the driveway. And so the stairs have more of an orientation outward from the house rather than hugging the exterior wall. And so what they seek to do really is to just retain those 3 windows, shift them over, then put that door closer. I don't recall how far from that corner, but it's to allow that stair landing to be the interior entrance.
So
Does
the
that explain?
stairs, I'm sorry, Donovan, are the stairs then gonna come out towards the driveway? Or are the stairs gonna come out towards the front road?
It's toward the front row. In the survey, you can kind of see the outline of them. So they, and unfortunately, we don't have the driveway here to kind of provide a little more clarity, but where there was that jog in the house, where the corner was, I just mentioned,
Yes.
that's where that comes out. And then the stairs come down, and then I think they plan to have at the same distance from that 15-foot setback, stairs leading to the east and west, toward the garage, and then also.
Okay. And we don't have any issues with decks or stairs covering an egress window, or is that anything that has to be dealt with?
Well, if it's not allowed by the building code, they'll have to adjust a window, adjust the openings.
Thank you.
Other questions for staff? Hearing none, good evening to the applicants, the Gabriels. We invite you, if you have any comments you would like to make on your project, please state them now, and then we may have a question or two for you. So welcome to the Planning Commission.
Thank you.
Thank you. Glad to be here. So we have some plans. I can share my screen that might clear up the how is the steps going to work issue, if you'd like me to do that. Otherwise, we can speak to how this started and how we got here. What's the pleasure of the commission? What would be the least confusing at this point?
Kevin, I think you had the questions. Would you like to see the stairs?
I'm okay, but no, that's all right.
Okay, so we moved to this home 18 years ago, and honestly, at that time, we thought it might be a transitional home. We had some family issues going on, It rang the bells as far as it had an office, home office. I'm a journalist and a marketing writer. Then in 2008, about 5 years later, we succumbed, both of us, to separate chronic health conditions. Pat has an aneurysm disorder. I've had breast cancer twice. What you learn when you have chronic health conditions that you don't know before you have them is how much time and energy and money they take. So we decided we would stay in this home. We intend to stay in this home as long as we can continue to fix it to be good for older knees and all the rest of that. So we intend to stay in this home until our passing or until we have to move to a residence. And so we've been slowly fixing it up over time. What you don't see in this application is all of the many, many things that we've done over time. And we are now finally to the point where we could do this door and window swap so that we could have a real living room instead of door or windows that are in front of a stairway, a door that's in a small living room and no real living room, even though we have furniture in there. And so we applied for a permit and discovered that we were out of compliance, even with our current deck is out of compliance. And so that started the variance process. The deck itself, there's the stairway and the landing that will be in front of the door. The door will actually be at the not the very exact corner, but just in from the corner of the house. So it'll be right over at the corner so we can utilize the space, creating the wall space next to that. And then the window will end where the current door ends. We also, because we live on 11th and South Shore, which, as Donovan sort of showed you, is right at the corner, our back of our house looks out onto Belts Park. We love Belts Park. It's an extremely busy corner, you learn, if you live here. Sometimes the traffic is constant. When we moved here, we had realtors tell us it was a quiet neighborhood. That is true. If you are in the front of our house or if you are one house next door to us, it is not true on our back deck.
A lot of times when we're on our back deck, we have to stop speaking because of the motorcycles and cars and
buses,
trucks.
whatever. Anyway, so part of this project then, as long as we were going to redo this whole front of the house, we did include a deck space so that we can sit there, perhaps have a few friends there. We originally were going to have it be a 10-foot wide deck, but of course we ran into the zoning issue. And we asked Donovan how wide a deck he could support as staff, because of course this is his full-time job. We are just homeowners. He said he could only support a 7-foot wide deck. So the pieces of the deck that are not associated with the stairway and the entrance have been scaled back to be only 7 feet wide instead of 10 feet, which will give us, the current deck is 6 feet wide. So we won't know what it's like to put chairs out there. 7 feet will give us just enough room to get chairs and a small table and at least be able to read a book or talk to each other without stopping. I think that's, oh, the tree. We didn't put the tree there. There's a huge tree root that we don't want to cut, because on the other side of the tree is our sanitary sewer line, which we've had cameraed. We think it's going to be stable, but that we expect to go at some point while we're living here. So we're trying to preserve all the tree roots, and we've now excavated, since the time of doing the variance, we've now excavated that root, and it's big. We don't want to cut it. So the stairs have to be a little closer to the property line to keep that root under the stairs and not impeding the stairs, so that eventually it'll grow and move the stairs, right? So it's going to be well under the stairs. We do, as we said, we do intend to stay. This is a modest house. This is the kind of house that people use up, they leave for the next person, and that's exactly what happened to us. I mean, we replaced a water heater right away. We replaced water softeners. We
replaced all the mechanicals. We put in triple pane fiberglass windows, wool carpeting. Right. I mean, we're trying to make this into the best possible house we can.
Right.
And what we're trying to do with swapping the windows and the door and the deck is continue to make it the best possible house for us and for whoever owns it next.
Right. So we're leaving it. I'm a Girl Scout that went to the equivalent of the Boy Scout Eagle Scouts. That's not what they called it, but I'm a Scout. I leave a place better than I found it. And this is a kingpin in doing that. So I think, any questions?
Any questions for the applicant?
Makes a lot of sense.
Thank you.
Hearing none, this is a public hearing. Well, the way this will work is we'll ask if anyone wishes to speak on behalf of this. Man, I don't, my words seem to be a little lost tonight. Speak on this application, we welcome to do so. Please state your name and address for the record. After everyone has been heard, we will close the public hearing and we will bring it back to the Planning Commission for a decision. So Donovan, so we will officially open the public hearing. Donovan, is there anyone in chambers who wishes to speak to this issue?
There is no one here. I did receive 3 written comments I'd like to read into the record when prompted.
All right, I'll ask Karen if she has anything first.
Chair Gerard, I don't have anybody waiting in the Zoom attendee room.
All righty, Donovan, would you proceed with reading those comments?
Certainly. Dear Planning Commission, please accept this letter as our public hearing testimony for the variance request for somewhat enlarged front deck on 806 11th Avenue Southeast, the home of Ann Patrick Gabriel. For 44 years, we have lived in our home at 1055 South Shore Drive, which is a corner lot directly across from 11th Avenue Southeast from the Gabriels. We have long known about the practical difficulty with their front door as stated by the Gabriels in their variance application. We completely support their efforts to fix the situation, which requires reconfiguring their existing front deck. We can also attest to the traffic noise at 11th Avenue Southeast and South Shore Drive, bordering Belts Park. Due to the orientation of our home, we've been able to add a deck for entertaining and recreation that is sheltered from the traffic noise. We believe the Gabriel should be permitted to do the same. Please vote in favor of granting the Gabriel's very reasonable request. Sincerely, Gary and Jennifer Mayer. Next letter. Planning Commission. We are writing this letter as our public testimony for the variance request for revising the front deck at 806 11th Avenue Southeast, the home of Ann Patrick Gabriel. We have lived in Forest Lake for 37 years, including 29 at 1056 9th Street Southeast, which is a corner lot at the corner of 9th Street Southeast and 11th Avenue Southeast. Our kitchen, dining room, back door, and rear deck face the Gabriel's property, so we can clearly see their front entrance from inside and outside our home. We have visited the Gabriel's home many times over the years, indoors and outside on their rear deck. We are very familiar with their cramped existing living room and the traffic noise at the northeast corner of Belts Park. We strongly support the Gabriel's efforts to fix the practical difficulty with their existing front door and create a small leisure space away from the traffic noise. In fact, we would support even a larger deck as the Gabriel's proposal is very modest. We respectfully request you vote in favor of the variance. We would have appeared in person, but we are visiting family on the East Coast this week. Sincerely, Brian and Penny Hegseth. Next letter. Dear Planning Commission, this letter serves as our public hearing testimony for the variance request for reconfiguring the front deck at 806 11th Avenue Southeast, the home of Ann and Patrick Gabriel. In 2015, we moved into our home at 808 11th Avenue Southeast, and the Gabriels, our next door neighbors to the west, were immediately welcoming. They've been kind and generous ever since, which makes them valued community members as well as good neighbors. The challenges faced by the Gabriels with access to the front door and the large tree in their yard are evident. We're sympathetic to the greater traffic noise the Gabriels experience at the rear of their house. We're supportive of the Gabriels variance and respectfully ask for you to vote in favor. Sincerely, Wayne and Kari Snaza. So those are the emails I received as public comment.
Thank you very much. And Donovan, no one has walked in the last minute while you were reading those?
No one has walked in, correct?
And Karen, no one has attended since Donovan's been reading?
There has not been anyone, no.
Okay, then we will close the public hearing and bring it back to the commission for comments, motions, etc. Susan?
Mr. Chair, I would grant approval of the variance, including the findings of fact that were in the staff memorandum and in accordance with the recommendation that no construction or demolition shall occur prior to the issuance of the required city permits.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Justin, a second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Kevin?
Donovan, I know that we have this set in front of us as a deck that's 8 foot wide, which isn't really that wide. Is that what it is, 8 foot?
I believe it's 7.
7 foot wide, which it really isn't that wide. I don't know. It's up to the rest of the members here. I don't know if we have any input on that, but I would be in favor of possibly even making that deck a little wider. But I support this motion. I support everything with it. But if we could maybe help them out and make it a little bit wider so they have a little bit of room. I could just see if you're sitting there in a couple of chairs and a table, you won't have much walking room. But just that's my discussion.
Mike?
I agree with Kevin on this. I stopped by the other day and their deck right now is 6 feet. Another foot, you know, it'll help, but with today's lumber cost, you're buying an 8 foot 2x4 and you got to cut it down, cut a foot off of it just to make a 7 foot deck. I'm in favor of a little larger deck, you know, not much larger, but you know, if they wanted to go 8 feet or something like that, I'm fully aware of that or in support of that. You wouldn't even notice it, you know, with the big tree there, and it's a side street. It's not a main street or anything. So I'm in favor of a little larger deck if they wanted to.
Justin?
I concur. I spoke to Ann and Pat this afternoon just to get a look at the situation, and I agree. That would be, it's a bit small and a bit wider would be fine with me.
You were recommending the 7 foot. Can you give us a little bit of your thought process on that? Did I lose Donovan?
Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry. Your audio was cutting out a little. Is there a question?
I was asking if you had arrived at 7 feet. Was there a reason for 7 versus going a little bit bigger?
You know, there often is discussion, you know, prior to submitting a formal application or even afterwards. And I really was more in favor of them having a, you know, clear access to move their door. I thought the deck was a little bit of an add-on. So that's why I thought that I didn't want to kind of, you know, presenting before the planning commission, kind of ask for too much. And so that's why I put the minimum on there. And I actually, on a personal level, do find that 8 feet is, you know, for a porch anyways, I'm more familiar with porches, I guess, you know, is the minimum. So I would support the planning commission if they want to approve a, you know, a variance to allow the stairs within, or to expand the deck. I mean, basically, you could do that. It's really the encroachment is to allow, you know, it's for the stairs. The deck itself is nowhere near, you know, that 15-foot setback. Is that correct, Ann and Pat?
Yes, so that is true. It'd be easier if I shared my screen to show you really quickly what we're talking about, if you want me to. Is that okay or not? But
Sure, we'll all get on the same page then.
Yep, I'd like to see
Okay.
that.
all right. All right, so hopefully you're looking at plans now. Tell me if you are.
Yes,
Okay, so on the left, you have you have the deck plan. On the right is the elevation. So on the right, you can see that the stairs are going to go down to our driveway. And then because you can't see the tree, which is right in front of all of this, the other stairs allow access to the yard. So we don't have to walk into the tree space, which has wood chips under it. On the left hand side, you see the deck, and the west portion, so the right-hand portion of that is the 7 foot wide portion. The other, the left portion is the portion that's going to be in front of the door. These are the existing door and window configuration on the left. We didn't draw a drawing with the new door and window configuration. This has been an evolving situation, as you can imagine. It would be this right-hand section that would then be, if allowed, 8 feet, but is drawn here as 7. Does this help? Do I need to blow it up at all, or is this good?
I think we're good. Thank you for sharing that. So Donovan, and you would have no problem with that deck extending out to where that stair is turned there? As long as the stairs don't move any farther to the street?
Correct. That would be in line. And that's basically, you know, the variance is for that, the part of the structure or the part of the construction that encroaches most, you know, the shortest dimension. And so that, you know, they, I believe that would be, you know, fully in the intent of, you know, even the current recommendation.
Okay, Susan?
And that was going to be my comment. I don't believe that we need to change the motion or the second because the encroachment is the stairs. And so I think that we have enough in the record that says that the planning commission is okay with them changing the dimension of the deck itself, that what we are actually voting on and the variance is for the stairs. So I think that we can still have the same motion and second and not have to change that.
Can we ask for a point of clarification then, so that we know what we're building? To bring the deck portion all the way out to the stairs, which is what we originally had, and I can share the screen again, to bring that deck portion all the way out to the stairs that go down into the property, that would make the deck 10 feet wide instead of 7, or as you've proposed, 8 feet wide. And we're trying so hard to be good citizens that we just want to know what's allowed and what's not allowed so that we can build the correct
We
thing.
want to make sure you have all the facts.
Right.
Yeah. Susan, do you want to explain your motion?
Yes. And Donovan, please check me if I'm wrong, but the encroachment that we're voting on is the stairs. And so whatever the size of the deck is sort of independent of the encroachment itself. And so it is my belief, unless Donovan checks me, that 7, 8, 10 feet would on the deck itself would be fine. It is the stair encroachment that we are voting on.
That is correct.
All right. So-
Okay. And commissioners, any?
Go forth and
Mike?
build 10 feet.
Mike?
Yeah, Donovan, can you pull up the picture from the driveway showing the steps and that small little landing at the top?
Sure.
I have that as well, if you'd like me to share my screen.
Well, my question is, because those steps are pretty close to the house right now. And if you're gonna put in a 10-foot deck with the steps on the north side of that, that's gonna be a lot more than the 15 feet.
No, the
No.
stairs are kind of inset into the deck, I believe. I'm having a hard time even getting my Zoom frame here. Sorry about that.
Okay,
And I think if you were to show, if your plan shows how the stairs are inset into
Right.
the deck. And so
Right.
the stairs will not be changed depending on where you make the deck.
whoops. Okay, so I can't share my screen now because Donovan is.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, does that give you a better picture?
No, it was the,
It was the,
yeah, one of those pictures, a colored picture from the driveway looking west.
yeah.
Yeah, right there. See, those steps now would have to be on the outside of the deck. Now, if you go from a 7-foot deck, which you currently, is what they're currently asking, and if they went up to 10 feet, now those steps are quite a ways out there, a little bit more. But I have no problem with that because there's nothing else you can do with that yard, with that tree there.
Mike, I think they're turning the steps 90 degrees.
Yeah, Ann, why don't you show your image? I think it was more clear.
Okay.
I know
So,
the steps are gonna go up, like halfway up to the deck, and you can go down the other side, and then,
right, so the stairs are going to be they would be inset into the 10-foot of the deck. They would, if you can see.
oh, they're, okay, that's where I got confused. They're gonna be inset into the deck, not outside of the deck.
Right.
Okay, that's what I was getting at. Okay.
So this drawing shows it with the right-hand portion of the deck being 7 feet instead of 10. The little Juliet porch, so to speak, on the left side shows it if it was 10 feet. So the stairs are inset into that, and they actually stop at the top of the stairs is at the 7-foot line. So basically we would pull the right-hand portion out to the stairs that are going to the west into the yard, and then we wouldn't have this open little space that honestly we're going to put some hostas in or something, so we wouldn't have to mow it because it's just a tiny little thing.
So
Okay.
the stairs will stay in the same place.
Right, the stairs would stay in the same place and would then be conforming to the motion because they're inset into the deck.
Okay, so the stairs are staying where they are.
Oh, I'm sorry, I
Plans.
didn't hit the button that said share. I'm so sorry.
Right
Here's
here.
You're good.
Here's the actual picture. I got it already and then didn't hit share.
Okay, because when I saw this picture and when I discussed this with you the other day, I wasn't aware that if you make the deck bigger, you were going to leave the steps where they were.
Yes, leave the steps where they are. We can't pull them out any further. We start to encroach on the tree, honestly.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine with that.
Okay, if we can go back to the screen. Thank you. Any other discussion, commissioners? Hearing none, Karen, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Young,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
I'm all in favor of it for you. Aye.
Commissioner Keen,
Aye.
Commissioner Brink,
Aye.
and Chair Gerard.
Aye. So what this means is that the planning commission has final decision on variances unless someone would want to protest the decision, and they would have to write something to City Hall within the next week. And then it would be reviewed by the City Council. Since no one participated this evening, I think that's an unlikely chance. So a week will go by and you'll be able to move forward. If you have questions about moving that deck out and whatnot, please get a hold of Donovan. Basically, what we're telling you tonight is don't move off of that 15 feet from the steps, and you're free to move out the rest of it. So we wish you all the best on your project. Thank you for coming this evening.
Now you can say it.
Thank you very much for granting this. You have no idea how much we appreciate this. It means the world to us.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Have a good evening.
Too.
Thank you.
Thank you
Okay,
again.
next up, we have, you're welcome. Next is Forest Hill Preserve, a final plan unit development application. This is all, we'll have a public hearing. We will consider the final plan and final unit development application, and we'll be making a recommendation to City Council. Donovan, I assume you are presenting?
Yes, Chair and Planning Commission like to present the final plan, the final PUD plan for Forest Hills Farms. Forest Hill Preserve, formerly named Forest Hills Farm Second Edition. We have with us tonight Jaron Johnson, the owner developer, and John Bender, the project architect. This is one that did receive a preliminary approval from recommendation from Planning Commission and from Council. And so what we have, before you is essentially the build out, the fully designed with some details to be finalized subdivision consistent with that preliminary approval. I'd like to just refresh your memories to show its location at the northwest quadrant with this Highway 97 and North Shore Trail intersection. This was roughly graded out when the Forest Hills Farms first edition was built, or when that began construction. The plat itself is also what you saw of 35 lots with a loop road, which in consultation with the project team, they wanted to have a 20-foot wide roadway. So that is will be one way, no parking allowed, to make sure that their fire department vehicles can have free access in there. This was layout, including slope and curves, were reviewed by the fire chief, and he found them acceptable. This one small change is that we did work with the development team to provide a smaller right-of-way along here with a reduced setback to accommodate that, and also included our just drainage utility easements on this left side of the road where the homes are located on the western side, as well as drainage utility easements up, get a little larger here, within the outlot A, the HOA owned lot, as well as a access agreement that we put here for this trail. The property does include 3 outlots. There's one that is outlot B. It's adjacent to and kind of parallel to North Shore Trail. That will be maintained by the HOA and owned by them. There is an outlot C that's being created at that far end, far cul-de-sac. And this is where the lift station will be located, the sanitary sewer lift station, to allow for the construction of these houses along is what's now identified as Kenneth Court, because there's a drop in grade here. This also will allow actually or facilitate the development of a parcel that will be zoned single family across on the other side on North Shore Trail. As per the preliminary plans, a sidewalk, to provide a large loop within Forest Hills Farms and Forest Hill Preserve. And of course the trail that goes through the park, the 19-acre park lot, kind of northwest of this development. So that's all included. Lot sizes didn't change. This was the PUD flexibility related to smaller lot size, which allowed obviously some more homes on this property that is just served by public sewer, but also gets us closer to the comprehensive plan minimum density for the low residential density for this, guided for this property. There are a significant amount of wetlands and steep slopes as shown here with that, in the way of unbuildable areas. And also there'll be no development within the outlot A and outlot B. This was a project that Bolton and Mink designed the public infrastructure for. This was a little bit of a change from the previous about 5 years, where we had a couple projects when the code was changed to allow for developer designed public infrastructure. We found that didn't work so well, and so with, of course, the Planning Commission's help, we changed that back, and so that the public engineer and his team designed, the utilities, street, curb, sidewalks, and also designed that lift station that I mentioned down at the end of that Kenneth Court identified road. I didn't receive any written comments from the public regarding this, and we did have some testimony during the preliminary plan phase and some written works. And, you know, in response to that, the developer did change the name to the Forest Hills Preserve. They have received, believe, or close to receiving their Rice or Comfort Lake Forest Lake Watershed District permit. The city engineer's review letter does include some additional pieces to clean up, and as well as one of the things that was, you know, evident with in the public hearing was the need for good signage for the public trail. And I'm working with Jamie from Parks to provide the text to the developer for the 2 signs that'll be installed both at the eastern terminus of the wood chip trail in the park lot, as well as the western terminus, to identify it is a public trail. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions from the Planning Commission.
Susan?
Donovan, are those roads public roads, or are they going to be private roads that'll be snow removal by the HOA?
These are public roads. The developer has said that he will have an HOA, plow the roads, including the sidewalks, so that.
Where are they going to put snow? That 20-foot road with that loop is going to be a problem, because you've got so many driveways there that there isn't going to be a lot of place to put snow. You've got so many driveways in that little loop and a 20-foot road. A plow can't get enough speed up to throw the snow. So I thoroughly expect that by March, it's going to be an 8-foot maybe road.
Well, there are, and of course, this has been reviewed by Public Works. They've been a part of this design of these. And of course, they work in many tight situations. And I can think of all the townhouse, communities that have really tight areas for, the car access, storage, the walkways. And I believe it takes more time, and it's something almost more of a boutique approach rather than the general public works approach, where you're plowing miles of roads.
Mike?
Well, excuse me. I'm going to go along with Susan on this. I had a question about the 20-foot wide roads, because after the first snowfall, every one of them homeowners are going to call and they want that snow pushed to the middle, because all their driveways are on the outside, and they're going to say, there's nobody living in there. Why not push it to the middle? Well, that's only going to work for so long, and then they got to put it somewhere else. So I just wanted to note that it's happened to me over the years. Lot C, the lift station. I didn't see on the plans anywhere where there's going to be an access for Public Works to go in there when the power goes out, to run a generator in, so that they have power for the lift station to operate all the sewer stuff. Is that at the end of the cul-de-sac, or is that going to come in off of the other road?
For sure.
No, there is a parking spot right next to the lift station, a asphalt pad that was designed for both, just a maintenance truck, so it wouldn't, impact, any parking areas, or less impact for neighbors regarding parking. And these are this doesn't show it. And these are in some ways, these are not, I've seen it on the other plans. These are the developer submitted plans. There's construction plans that have been developed by Ryan's team that show that better. And I don't.
Okay, I was just wondering, as long as they have access to that lift station and a place to put that generator, and because it's easier to plan that now than it is after all them homes are in and the driveways and the fences are up, and then the power goes out.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Evan?
Donovan, North Shore is a city road, is that correct?
Yes.
have we reviewed, turn lanes? Is there a right turn lane or a left bypass lane for turning into that project? That corner is rather busy as people are coming off of 97, as people are coming around North Shore. Are there any thoughts on putting turn lanes in there? Otherwise, I can see that being a real problem going left or right there.
I will let John Bender from the project team address that one. That was part of initial conversations, and then I have not heard of that. I've really just let, because Bolton and Mink have been, so much a part of this. I've not bird dogged in the same way I would, otherwise. So maybe, during their time, they could address that issue or topic.
Other questions for staff? Okay, then we'll move on to the developer here. In this case, I believe, Mr. Bender, you're representing the applicant this evening. Would you like to add any comments?
Yes. First, I'd like to apologize for or on behalf of Jaron Johnson. He texted me shortly before the meeting. He's actually, his mother has been admitted to the ER, so he has got a family emergency. That's why he is not attending. But yes, I am happy to answer questions. I don't know if I have any grand speech prepared, but if now is an appropriate time, I can start to try to address some of the questions.
Sure.
Regarding the turn lane, there is going to be a bypass lane extension along the west side, the east side of North Shore, to allow for a bypass, to allow for a turning movement for northbound into the project. And I believe it's Ryan Goodman and his team will prepare the actual street and utility plans. But our plan, meaning Westwood's plan, includes grading work to prepare that bypass lane on the east side of North Shore. Regarding the snow questions, it is part of the benefit, I guess I would say, of having it be a 20-foot wide one-way road is there's less pavement to pave than if it was a two-way road. So it does generate less snow. But that being said, I understand the concern there. I suspect what the plows would do is, it would be a one-way. It would be counterclockwise going around there. So it would make sense for the plows to plow to the right, meaning they would plow into the front yards. I guess in my opinion, that's no different than what we all experience when a public plow goes through. They plow into the front yards. I respect the comment that the neighbors may point out to Public Works that there's an island on the other side, but I think logistically, if it just doesn't work for Public Works, they need to put the snow where it makes sense, which I think in this case would be in the front yards. Donovan is correct that there is an access provided to the lift station. I haven't seen the final plans from Ryan, but I saw an early draft, and yes, there's an access there for being able to do maintenance and provide generator connections and so forth to the lift station. Did I cover the questions, or was there another one that I'm forgetting?
Mike?
Well, that covers the question about the snow, but I've never seen a counterclockwise island or a road. I mean, in America, Minnesota, everything is arrow to the right, arrow to the right. You pull into a development, you stay to the right, you make the loop. That's why I didn't even think about, it's a one way to the left, counterclockwise through that development. So that explains
Okay.
what I was commenting on earlier, where after the first snowfall, they're going to all call and just say, hey, why don't that truck just come up the opposite way and loop it to the middle? So, yeah. All right.
Mike, I'm sorry, I might not be explaining myself very well. when I say counterclockwise, I do mean that you would drive in and you would take a right around the loop. I'm thinking, looking down from, from above, it looks like it's counterclockwise. But
Okay, because I was thinking you go into the right, and all the homeowners are gonna get the snow. And then when you said the counterclockwise, I thought you meant counterclockwise what I was talking about, not.
oh
like a-
no, I'm sorry. I think I meant that they will be going the same way that you originally thought, which
Okay,
I do agree
Which
would
was
probably push the
clockwise.
snow to the front yards.
Susan?
All of these lots have got to have wells. And so I'm really concerned that several homeowners are going to be coming to the planning commission and saying that they need variances on side lots or front lots or whatever to be able to get their wells in. How have you laid out where you hope that the wells will be going and your house pads?
Well, I do wish at this moment that Jaron was online, because I know he's actually been communicating with his well drillers and coming up with a plan that I have not been too privy to, but I'll tell you what I know. I know Jaron is exploring the option of having, since there will be an HOA, of having basically half as many wells by having one well serve 2 homes. That's one option he's looking at. But even if the wells, if one well is needed per house, generally, when we tend to think of a well and septic lot, we think of a large 2.5 acre lot. But what really dictates the need of that large lot is the septic field, because of all the setback requirements for the septic. But in our case, we don't have septic, we just have wells, and the setback requirements for wells are actually significantly less. They can be tucked in relatively closely to the house. So I don't anticipate there being construction issues trying to find space for a well on these lots.
My 2 cents on this.
I'm just concerned you're going to have cone of depression issues. Okay. That will be on the developer's head, I believe.
Susan, if memory serves me, the well needs to be 20 feet from a pressure tested sewer line. So it's a fairly close, because I had that problem at my house. And so it's 50 if it's untested and 20, I believe, if it's tested. And these will all be new, so they should all be tested. So
Right.
they should be good to go.
And Mr. Chair, my concern is not so much the distance between the wells and the sewer lines, et cetera. You're going to have cone of depression issues when everybody starts pulling at the same time. These will be challenging wells to manage over the long haul. But as I said, I believe that's on the developer's head.
For the developer.
I'm sorry, sir, I believe part
I
of
have
your
one-
conversation was frozen.
I'm sorry, Paul, were you
Sorry,
asking a question of me? I didn't hear it.
Yeah, I don't know if my internet's unstable or Susan's is, but one of ours is not doing well. I'm not sure where this enters North Shore. And as Kevin was asking earlier, turning and going north, you're going to widen it out. But coming south, are you in the turn lane there already, where you come out of that development?
Do you mean the turn lane with the intersection with Highway 97?
Yes.
No, we are north of that turn lane.
Okay, thank you. Other questions for the developer? All right, and we'll move. Oh, Kevin, go ahead.
John, do you know how far north of the turn lane you are?
I don't have that information directly in front of me. I don't know if you guys have, if any of you have driven this stretch of road, but essentially where our road is connecting in now is more or less where the field access gate is in the existing condition.
Yeah, that's pretty far back.
Yeah, I measure, I can pull up my screen, but I measured about a little over 500 feet to the opening.
Okay.
Too bad they don't put the access down a little bit further and tie it right in.
Easy. Any other questions for the developer? Hearing none, this is a public hearing. We asked it if you would like to comment on this application. You'll state your name and address for the record. Spend a couple minutes giving us your comments. When the planning commission has heard all the comments, we will close the public hearing. We will bring it back for a decision and recommendation to the city council. So with that, I'll officially open the public hearing. Donovan, is there anyone at City Hall who wishes to speak to this application?
No, there's not.
Thank you. Karen, do you have any comments or people who would wish to speak to this application?
I do not have anyone. Nope.
So we'll give it just a few seconds so you guys can all hum the Jeopardy theme. And at the end of 30 seconds, I'll ask the question one more time. Donovan, has anyone walked in since 30 seconds ago?
No, they have not.
Karen, any comments or anyone who wants to participate?
No.
Having no comments, we will close the public hearing. Planning Commission members, what is your pleasure? Hearing none, I'll open it up. I would make a recommended to City Council approval of the final plan unit development plan application for Forest Hills Preserve per the PID with the following 8 conditions. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Kevin?
My question is to Donovan, as a discussion, do we have to add a 9th recommendation about the bypass lane or not? Or or is that not part of this?
I believe that would be considered, already be inclusive within condition number 1 regarding meeting the concerns of the city engineer.
Okay.
Other comments, discussion? Hearing none. Karen, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Young,
No,
Commissioner Miller,
No.
Commissioner Keen,
Yes. Aye.
Commissioner Brink,
No,
and Chair Gerard.
Aye. The motion fails on a 3-2 vote. Susan, I'm looking for a little input. How do we proceed from here?
I think that the applicant can go ahead and approach the city council. I still have many concerns about this development. And I am just not comfortable moving it forward. However, the applicants can certainly go to the city council and it would not surprise me if they received a favorable response, but that is something they could do, or if the applicant has some that they would like to add, and one of the commissioners who voted on the no side wanted a motion to reconsider, that is also in order, sir. So there are a couple ways that we can go.
Thank you. I always like your input when it vote doesn't go majority. Kevin?
Can we have just a little discussion?
Sure.
So the cul-de-sac is a real struggle for me, the width of that cul-de-sac. And those turn lanes and those bypass lanes on North Shore in that location, I think are really important. I love development. I am probably the most pro developer of anybody. I want development. Our city needs it. I love housing, but that is a difficult corner, and that cul-de-sac is a challenge in my opinion.
Thank you for your comments. Other comments? All righty, so the motion failed. So Mr. Bender, this will go to the City Council. It was our recommendation to deny this plan unit development at this time. They may have a different decision to make. This would be on their agenda, I assume May 24th, Donovan?
Yes.
So we wish you all the best with your project and with the City Council. Do you have any questions for us?
Yes, well, first, thank you everyone for your time. Just to clarify so that I can relay this to Jaren and he and I can, go back to the drawing board, so to speak. It sounds, as I understand it, the primary concerns are the width. When you say the width of the cul-de-sac, Mr. Miller, I believe you mean the loop road. Okay. So the width of that, the turn lane actions or movements available on North Shore Trail. And Ms. Young, is your primary concern, is it the wells and then the loop?
Yes, and when this came to us first, I just believe you're trying to cram too many lots in here. I realize the financial give and take. I understand the desire to maximize the revenue, but this is, especially for this area, you're cramming a lot of lots in an area that you are going to have some challenges with.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate everyone's time.
Thank you. You have a good evening.
You too. Thanks.
We will move on to our other part, and as typical, I usually start with our councilperson liaison, and I do not believe Councilperson Munson is with us this evening. So I will move to Donovan. What do you have for us?
Well, I will say that our next meeting will be June 9th. Yes, June is going to hit us. And I just will also report that we continue to have conversations with developers, even some business expansions. And so look to bring you, other subdivisions for your consideration. With that, I'm happy to take any questions from the Planning Commission.
Any questions, Donovan? I do have one, Donovan. Now that the comprehensive plan is complete, are we going to start seeing the zoning in the next number of months, or what's the plan on that?
That's certainly my intention, yeah, to bring you more pieces. There's some that I think have a little more urgency and maybe could be standalone. I don't want to bring it to you piecemeal, so I've tried to find time to do this. And I think maybe I'll be having an intern in a few weeks, so hopefully that'll help with some of that. It's free up some time that otherwise I'd be doing those types of enforcement or fence permits or that sort of thing.
Okay, Susan?
Donovan, I have to admit that having significant pieces brought forward to us, as you have been doing, gives us a chance to discuss it and focus on pieces that you have a desire to change, rather than to have the entire zoning code and for us to go through it and and try and do everything all at once and review everything at once. Unless you're planning on redlining the entire old document so that we know where you are looking to make changes in the new one.
Well, I have started redlining the old document, but no, I do believe, to me, I can't, there's really no way that we could process, everything all together. So I will continue to bring the significant pieces in a more or less cohesive fashion so that there looks like there's some, method here, and because I do, we've had a couple of those zoning map amendments that have come through, and, I kind of look at those. I'm frankly embarrassed that, we're not simply done the comprehensive remapping, so that, that's not something that we need to talk about again, with these individual applications. So, that spurs me to bring things forward.
All righty, thank you. Other questions of Donovan? Karen, thank you for attending this evening. Do you have anything for us?
You act like I have a choice. I'm typing all the minutes. Just curious, or point of clarification, talked with Donovan, but I want to make sure planning commission meeting next time is canceled. Yes, no?
Okay. Yeah, the second meeting in May is canceled.
So the $64,000 question, and with Dennis not here tonight, I'll ask it. Is that one going to be in chambers?
No,
Oh, you're killing me, man.
it's not. Council voted on Monday night to extend the emergency declarations for the city for another 30 days and continue with the remote. We're getting closer. I mean, we are getting closer, but that has been extended for at least another month as we move forward, make plans, try to map out how to come back to in-person meetings and make sure that all open meeting law rules are adhered to. And so,
Thank
but
you.
we're getting closer.
Any questions for Karen? We'll go around the room quickly, as they say. We'll start with Mike. Anything for us, Mike?
No, nothing for me.
Thank you. How about Justin?
Nothing for me.
Susan?
Nothing, sir.
Kevin?
Not tonight, no.
I have nothing myself, so the chair is looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
A motion, do I have a second?
Second.
And a motion by Mike, a second by Justin. This is non-debatable. So Karen, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Young,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Commissioner Keen,
Aye.
Commissioner Brink,
Aye.
and Chair Gerard.
Aye. Thank you all for participating tonight. It's great to see you all. Since we don't have a late May meeting, have a wonderful and safe Memorial weekend. Look forward to seeing you in June.